Okay. I think we're ready. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Veterans Day ceremony. Could you please silence your phones? If anybody needs to use the restroom, the CLC is over here. Go through the doors, and it's on your right. So welcome to Charles George VA Medical Center. I'm Allan, Perkal, Chairman of the Buncombe County Veterans Council. I'll be your master of ceremonies today. The Veterans Day ceremony is sponsored by Charles George VA Medical Center, Buncombe County Veterans Council, and the City of Asheville. Our ceremony has taken place in front of the Charles George statue, which commemorates the heroism and sacrifice of Private First Class Charles George, Congressional Medal of Honor winner, Korea, and our medical center's namesake, and honors the service of all veterans, past and present. Behind you is the Vietnam Veterans Memorial of Western North Carolina, the veterans who gave their lives in service to our country in the Vietnam War. I'd like at this time to recognize any Gold Star family members in the audience. Would you please stand, please? Gold Star family members. Thank you. Our community in Western North Carolina has gone through a difficult time recovering from the effects of Hurricane Helene. As we recover, we will need to stay strong, be resilient, and help each other. Western North Carolina has a history of coming together. We will need that now. Together, then together again. I would like to take a moment of silence for those who have fallen serving their country and those in harm's way around the globe. Thank you. We now invite you to rise and remain standing for the presentation of colors by the American Legion, Post 317 Marshall, followed by the singing of the national anthem by Bradley Parker, United States Marine Corps, Marine Corps League, North Carolina Detachment 1417, and the Pledge of Allegiance led by Steve Henderson, United States Marine Corps, Vietnam, President of Brothers and Sisters Like These, Veteran Writing Group. Present colors.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
If you'll remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. We're honored today to have Stephanie Young, the director of Charles George VA Medical Center, to give some welcome remarks. We personally want to thank her and her staff for taking care of us. We have a lot of work to do for the remainder of our years serving our country. Stephanie Young, director of Charles George. Is that good?
Thank you. Good morning, everyone, and welcome. And thank you for joining us today for this Veterans Day as we honor our veterans and our service members. For those of you I have not yet met, my name is Stephanie Young, and I proudly serve as the Executive Director of the Western North Carolina VA Healthcare System. I do so along with my team and other leaders. Just want to recognize Ms. Weber, Mr. Holbert here in the front, who have really helped us through this disaster. And they were boots on the ground that very first day, and they're actually my personal heroes. While our roles really come with a lot of honors, none are more humbling than being part of a incredible VA team who embody the mission of the Veterans Health Administration, especially during these very unprecedented times. As President Lincoln promised, we are committed to care for those who have served our nation's military, along with their families, their caregivers, and survivors. We never do it alone. September 27th, 2024 will forever be etched in our memories. Hurricane Helene's path caused significant damage and loss to our communities. Despite this adversity, the spirit of Western North Carolina and the spirit of Western North Carolina VA healthcare system remained unbroken. Our employees, they demonstrated remarkable resilience. They continued to meet the needs of our veterans while navigating their own challenges, their own personal issues. And we didn't just care for our veterans, we provided exceptional care. Our staff worked all long hours, including multiple shifts, sleeping on cots, strewn throughout the hospital. They were innovative, and Western North Carolina VA healthcare system is known for their innovation. They figured out how to strap oxygen tanks onto high water vehicles and delivered oxygen to homes. They transported medications and supplies and hiked up mountains where roads and driveways no longer existed. Why? Because they know what their duty is, to care for our veterans who cared for us. They provided supplies, medicines, and sometimes just a shoulder to lean on. Our staff identified veterans who could benefit from a charitable program that offered loaned RVs. I'm incredibly grateful to each of the team, each member, and I'm so very proud of them. As you know, the VA cannot do it alone, and I'd like to take this opportunity to acknowledge the support we receive from the community, our veteran service organizations, family members, volunteers, FEMA, Red Cross, and many, many more. Our congressional staff, who you'll hear from. We received tons of calls and support. Support came from many directions, and I want to share my gratitude for the VA Mid-Atlantic Healthcare Network. My boss, the network director, Mr. Cruz, and his team helped us prepare for the storm, and after, they made sure that we had the resources we needed to continue on, so there was no gap. We also received calls, information, and needs from our VA family across the nation. Text messages, emails, IMs. What do you need? Other VAs across the nation sent staff. We needed scrubs. We needed linens. We needed water. We needed other supplies because our normal supply route was broken. They came through for us, and it's because we're a VA family, and that's what VA families do. Support also came from the Office of Emergency Management, and this is a long one, the Disaster Emergency Medical Personnel System, which we're just gonna fondly call DEMPS. DEMPS volunteers, DEMPS staff, for their swift response to our needs. By the morning of September 28th, so think about it, September 27th it happened. By the morning of September 28th, the combined team of logistics and DEMS personnel were en route to Asheville, North Carolina, to help our veterans and help our staff. Throughout the crisis, they deployed over 80 individuals. Those included drivers, facility maintenance staff, nurses, social workers, respiratory therapists, police officers, and housekeepers, all in support of our mission. Each of them left everything behind to come here. I'm also grateful for the Secretary of the Veteran Affairs, the Honorable Dennis McDonough, and the Deputy Secretary of Veteran Affairs, Tanya Basher. They both traveled to our mountains to express their solidarity with our team Asheville and to acknowledge the determined efforts involved in delivering care to veterans throughout the disaster. There are also people in this audience right here who provided support, prayers, and information that we much needed during this time. I'm thankful for each and every one of them for demonstrating the dedication and commitment to the VA staff members. It's our commitment to those who serve, and our commitment did not waver, even during the disaster. We never provide excellence alone. Therefore, I kindly ask everyone here to join me in giving everybody that helped the VA continue to provide care for veterans a round of applause. Thank you. We're here today to commemorate Veterans Day and honor those who have served, those who have defended our country. This ceremony is a beautiful example how we can honor our veterans as a community. One of our special patients suggested another way to express our gratitude. His name is William Arnold Price, also known as Big Arnold. Last week, when he asked what message he would give the community during Veterans Day, he said, "I hope that the community is extremely giving to those called veterans. Regardless of what branch they were in, they still gave everything, every day and every moment of their lives." Big Arnold is 100 years old and a World War II veteran who has very vivid memories of the war. He recalls having frozen feet during a treacherous road march in Austria back in 1944. He remembers crawling down the side of a boat on a rope ladder during the invasion of southern France. Big Arnold also remembers his valiant friend, Audie Murphy, and the bullets flying over their heads during combat. Big Arnold asks that the community not only be giving, but also truly understand the meaning of the term veteran. Thanks to My Life, My Story program, Big Arnold was able to share this story with Jennifer DeWaters, one of our program support assistants. Finally, I'd like to share another story about a veteran, Garth Massey. He's in our audience today. He is one of our DEMPs who volunteered from Dayton, Ohio to assist veterans affected by Hurricane Helene. So Garth works for the VA in Ohio, and he came. Really, in the aftermath of disaster, we continue to conduct those welfare checks, and Garth has been operating vehicles in various terrains, enabling other VA staff members to provide services and care to high-risk veterans. What is remarkable is that Garth Massey is an Army veteran who served in Afghanistan. There's about 65 years between Big Arnold and Mr. Massey's services in combat. Garth is a Purple Heart recipient, a military decoration awarded by the President to those who have been wounded or killed while serving. Garth did not hesitate to answer another call of duty. On behalf of Western North Carolina VA healthcare system, I wish to thank Big Arnold, Garth Massey, and all the veterans for their service to our great country. From all of my team, thank you for allowing us to serve you, because we're honored to do so. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Young, for those inspiring words that we can live by. I'd like to again acknowledge what you folks and Charles George do for us. Okay, today from Senator Tillis's office, we have Robin Ramsey, Western Regional Representative. Robin.
We have a little joke going back and forth. He'll say Robin, and I'll say Allan. Thank you so much for inviting me here today. And Director Young, thank you for being the fearless leader during this time of turmoil. I had no communication out in Fairview. Everything was wiped away. No cell service, nothing. But our office did call to make sure you guys were okay. And they reported back, of course, a week later, that you were okay and making it through. Thank you to everyone's dedication to our veterans. I appreciate it. Senator Tillis would love to be here today on this beautiful day to celebrate the veterans, but he sent a letter, and me. Dear friends, I am pleased to extend my greetings to all those gathered for the Western North Carolina VA Health System's Veterans Day celebration. Today we honor the millions of Americans who have served our great nation and express our appreciation for their dedication to the ideals upon which it was founded. As we reflect on the valor of these brave men and women, we must remember that it is through their sacrifice that America continues to stand as a beacon of freedom throughout the world. Thank you for your incredible devotion and love for our country. May God bless you and your families, and may God continue to bless the United States of America. Sincerely, Tom Tillis, U.S. Senator. Thank you.
Okay, from Senator Ted Budd's office, we have Kai Laughter. Kai.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for letting me be here on behalf of Senator Ted Budd. The senator wishes he could be here and has sent some remarks. Dear friends, we gather today to remember the service, sacrifice, and courage of our nation's veterans and to reflect on the heroism of those in our military. I want to thank the staff and workers of the Charles George VA Medical Center for arranging this event and for the tireless commitment they and their volunteers make to our nation's veterans. On the eve of the conclusion of the Civil War, President Abraham Lincoln made a commitment to care for him who shall have borne the battle. America owes a debt of gratitude to those who have served in uniform. As your senator, I will continue to support our nation's veterans and those who laid down their lives in the defense of our freedom. We will never forget the sacrifices made so that freedom could prevail. Thank you, and may God continue to bless the United States of America. Sincerely, Ted Budd, U.S. Senator. Thank you.
We're honored today to have Congressman Chuck Edwards.
Well, good morning, everyone. Thanks for allowing me to be here with you this morning amongst all the heroes in this audience and on behalf of all the heroes in this great nation that have served us and that will serve us. I think that it's fitting while we're here just out of sight of some of the devastation that we experienced on September 27th, we take a few minutes and remember those who have made it possible for us to be here and assemble today. Ronald Reagan told us, freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it to our children in the bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on for them to do the same. Today, we gather to honor the men and women who served our armed forces to prevent the extinction of the freedoms of our grateful nation that we have enjoyed for 248 years. Today, we pay tribute to those who have worn the uniform with courage, integrity, and dedication. Veterans Day is not just a date on the calendar, nor a day off for many. It's a powerful reminder of the bravery and the selflessness that has sustained our freedom and protected our democracy. Veterans Day is important to the entire country, but especially in North Carolina. In North Carolina, we are home to 620,000 veterans, the fifth largest population of veterans of all the states. On this day, we show our gratitude to all veterans, past and present, who answered the call to service. To those who stood at the ready in times of peace and in times of conflict, often putting their lives on the line so that we might live in safety and security. Whether on foreign shores or here at home, each veteran and their families have contributed to a proud legacy of strength and resilience, and for that we are deeply grateful. Today we also recognize the families of our veterans. They too have sacrificed, sharing in the burdens and anxieties that come with military service, offering their unwavering support and love from afar, and adapting to the challenges that come with this life of service. To these families, we offer our heartfelt thanks and admiration. Can we get a big round of applause for the families? Thank you. Ronald Reagan also told us that we enjoy peace by showing our strength. That strength, which serves as a deterrence to our enemies, only comes through the courage and strength of those who serve, have served, and will serve our mighty military. As we reflect on the sacrifices made by these brave men and women, let us also consider our responsibility as citizens. Let us ensure that our veterans have the support that they need when they return home. Let us provide them with quality health care, job opportunities, and the resources that they deserve. For the freedom and the democracy they protected, it's only fitting that we give them our utmost respect and our unwavering commitment. Today and every day, let us remember the veterans who are no longer with us, those who made the ultimate sacrifice in defense of our nation. Let us honor their memory by continuing to uphold the values for which they fought. To our veterans here today, we offer our humble gratitude. Thank you for your courage, your sacrifice, and your service. May we always be worthy of the freedom that you have so bravely defended. I leave you now with a quote from another of my favorite world leaders, Winston Churchill. We sleep safely at night because rough men, and now women, stand ready to visit violence on those who would harm us. May God bless you all, and may God continue to bless our great nation. Thank you for allowing me to be part of this ceremony.
Thank you, Congressman Edwards. Ladies and gentlemen, we are honored today to have our keynote speaker, Saeed Mustafa, United States Army retired Command Sergeant Major. He is a Bronze Star recipient, served in the Gulf War and Operation Iraqi Freedom, and author of Resilient Transition. Brother in arms, Saeed Mustafa.
Good afternoon. To the distinguished leaders here, Director, Congressman, all those representatives, brave women and men in uniform, along with your families, esteemed veterans, and incredible residents of Asheville, North Carolina, and surrounding communities. I said afternoon, but I probably should say good morning. It's still morning. As I stand before you today in front of this magnificent facility, place of health, wellness, healing, I am filled with immense pride and gratitude. Today on Veterans Day, we gather to honor those who have dedicated their lives, who have stood in the face of danger, and who have risked everything to ensure that our nation remains free. We pay tribute to the valor and sacrifice of all those who have worn the uniform of the United States Armed Forces, from the storied halls of history to present day. We remember not only the heroes of the past, but also those who at this very moment are standing watch for our freedom and security in some faraway place. They are stationed across the United States and deployed in missions around the globe, embodying the courage and commitment that define the spirit of our nation. To each and every one of you who have donned that sacred uniform on behalf of a grateful nation, we say from the bottom of our hearts, thank you. Thank all of you for your service. As we reflect on the sacrifices made by our veterans and active service members, we also find ourselves confronted with the realities of our current circumstances, which have already been described here in Western North Carolina. Just a couple of months ago, you all experienced the devastation claiming many lives far too soon. And so, on behalf of my fellow council members in the town of Highlands, New York, which includes West Point, on behalf of the dean and the fellow graduate students of the Columbia University School of Social Work, where I am currently a student, on behalf of my colleagues at the Montrose VA Hospital, where I am an intern at the PTSD clinic, we offer our sincere and heartfelt condolences to the loved ones who have tragically lost their family members. In times like these, it can be easy to postpone this type of ceremony. Nobody would hold it against you. Because certainly, I'm sure there are feelings of overwhelming grief still and uncertainty. But amid the sorrow and challenges is often when our collective strength emerges. Since arriving in Asheville on Friday, I have witnessed something truly remarkable. The incredible unity, teamwork, and resilience being demonstrated by the phenomenal residents and survivors of this wonderful community. No doubt some of our veterans who have been trained to push through adversity are on the front lines of this community's recovery effort. In the face of these monumental challenges, I see that people of all different walks of life have come together as one team in a spirit of kindness. Neighbors are helping neighbors, strangers are reaching out to lend a hand, and communities are rising from the ashes, from the destruction, with a fierce determination to rebuild and heal together. This is a testament to the strength of the human spirit, a spirit that mirrors the very essence of what it means to be a veteran. As I look out at all of you today, I see the values that our veterans have fought to uphold: courage, selfless service, and an unwavering commitment to one another. It is in these moments that we are reminded of the power of unity. We are reminded that we are stronger together, that our collective strength can weather any storm, no matter if it be a natural disaster or the storms we face from challenges in everyday lives, like finding a new normal after transitioning from the military back to civilian life. Here in Asheville, you all are an inspiration for the nation because of the resilience shown by this community. Every act of kindness, every moment of support, every shared smile is a building block for your recovery. An example for others like myself to follow. Just as we veterans learned during our time in service to stand shoulder to shoulder in the face of adversity, we too must stand together to help our own communities like here in this time of need. We must embrace the challenges that lie ahead with the same tenacity and resolve we did while wearing the uniform. And we must remember to check on each other. Check on our friends and neighbors, not just for supplies and material things. Check on their mental health and their wellness. Check on your battle buddies every day if possible. As we honor our veterans today, let us also honor the spirit of service that lives within each of us. Let us commit to taking action, being there for one another. The spirit of service, like that found within Medal of Honor recipient Charles George, a member of the Eastern Band of the Cherokee tribe and one of only 28 Native Americans to receive the Medal of Honor. PFC George made the ultimate sacrifice on November 29, 1952. You all know the story better than me. By throwing himself on a live grenade to save his comrades. His extraordinary courage exemplifies the spirit of selflessness, and that defines our veterans. We also recognize the commitment and action and invaluable contributions of our women veterans, like Major Elmira Maynard Watson, also from Western North Carolina, who dedicated 25 years to the Army Nurses Corps and broke ground by serving in military field conditions during World War II. Women have served in our armed forces since the American Revolution, often without recognition that they deserve. Today, let us honor all our veterans' sacrifices and ensure that all veterans, regardless of their gender, their race, their religion, or their social status, receive the best medical care, quality of life programs, and respect which they have rightfully earned. Let us, as veterans, reach out to those in need, extend a helping hand, and offer our support to our neighbors, our friends, our families. Through serving again, we can find new purpose. And we can actually find healing through service. Together, we can lead our nation in how to navigate the path to recovery, honor those who we have lost, and create a brighter future here in Asheville and beyond. In closing, I want to leave you with this thought. The strength of our nation lies not only in the valor of our veterans, but also in the unity of our communities. Let us carry the torch of hope and resilience forward, not just today, but every day. Let us honor our veterans past and present by embodying their spirit of service in our daily lives. Together, we can overcome any challenge, rebuild our community, and ensure that the legacies of those we honor today live on in our actions, our kindness, and our commitment to one another. Thank you all so much for your hospitality since I've been here on Friday. It's incredible. Thank you for taking time to come out today, listen to an old soldier, and may we continue to stand strong together. As a graduate student at the Columbia University School of Social Work, I pledge that I want to, as much as possible, advocate for this community. Whatever that means, whatever that can mean, I'll be singing your praises after what I've seen down here when I get back to New York. I am inspired by your strength and your spirit, and I hope to contribute to the vital efforts that will help rebuild and uplift this magnificent community even further. So that means I'll be back. I'm coming back. May God bless you all. May God bless the people of Western North Carolina. May God bless the United States of America. And I got one thing to do before I say thank you. I want to give a presentation to this Vietnam veteran named Allan Perkal, because it's guys like him who were leaders for me when I joined in the military. And so when I talk to him on the phone, he just don't know that some days just hearing his voice picks me up when I'm in New York. When he told me his story of transitioning from the military and working at the VA, I asked for my internship to be at the VA because of his story. So on behalf of the veterans, I want to just present this to you and say thank you.
Thank you. I'm humbled by that. There is a place for you, Saeed, in Western North Carolina, you know, to continue to serve your country over here. We need folks like that in the military who's willing to continue and serve us. And there's a lot of work to be done here. I'd like to take this time to recognize the mayor of Asheville, Esther Manheimer, for her support of this ceremony, ongoing support. Today we're honored to have with us 3 members of the Brothers and Sisters Like These Veteran Writing Group. This group has come together for over 10 years. It writes to heal the wounds of war and leave their legacy with their family. There'll be 3 readers. The first reader will be Emiliano, Enea, United States Army, Iraq and Afghanistan veteran. Second will be Sarah Scully, United States Army, Iraq veteran. And batting cleanup is our pilot from Vietnam, Ron Toler, United States Air Force, Vietnam.
Good morning to all of our distinguished guests, speakers, visitors, VA employees, and especially veterans. Many of us fit into more than one of these categories. I, for example, am a proud veteran of the 82nd Airborne Division as an airborne infantry paratrooper who fought in multiple Iraq and Afghanistan campaigns. I'm here today as a board member of the nonprofit veteran organization called Brothers and Sisters Like These, whose charter is to provide healing through creative writing to veterans of all conflicts in our community. I am honored to speak today before you to celebrate this very important day and humbled by our President Steve Henderson's request that I be one of the speakers that represents our organization. Many of us already know the history behind Veterans Day and how it has become a day to celebrate the community of veterans as a whole versus the individual veteran. This is why Veterans Day has no apostrophe. Today, my thoughts are with the ceremony at the Tombs of the Unknowns at 11 a.m. this morning, the 11th day of the 11th month. My personal journey to become a veteran was born out of my origin story. As my name implies, I'm a first-generation American from New York City who was always keen on the notion of serving my nation so that other future Americans have a place to call home in the same manner that my parents were fortunate enough to be able to do so. And it is because of that service to our nation that today we celebrate and honor those who served in the military, regardless of in time of peace or war. For despite your service period, all veterans have to live with the effects of their service, which has left mental health, moral injury, and physical trauma as byproducts of their oath of service. Today, I would like to take a moment to reflect on how veterans of our community here in the greater Western North Carolina have banded together to help support each other. Whether it be receiving health care as a patient at Charles George, as I do, or by reaching out to organizations like brothers and sisters like these, Veterans Healing Farm, Blue Ridge Honor Flight, or the Buncombe County Veterans Treatment Court, who are all present here at today's ceremony. I see in this audience many of my own providers who were and continue to be instrumental in helping me process the effects that my service has taken on me and my family. It is because of their dedication to me and other veterans that I can stand before you all as a productive member of society. My improved quality of life is a testament to their work and dedication. Never forget that veterans, whether we realize it or not, continue to look out for each other and live by the mantra of, it takes a village, because it truly does. We continue to look out for each other when at times parts of society forgets we exist, but not veterans or the civilian population that helps support us, like the employees of this area are blessed with being served by providers that have a combination of professional credentials, being experienced subject matter experts, and genuinely caring people. I could not find a quote more appropriate than one spoken by President Abraham Lincoln, the founder of the Veterans Administration. Honor to the soldiers and sailors everywhere who bravely bear this country's cause. Honor also to the citizens who cares for his brother, and I would add sister, in the field and serves as best he can the same cause. As a veteran, I want to thank all of my past and future brothers and sisters that have served or will serve, and to the civilian population that has made it their life's mission to continue to support veterans after their separation from service. It is because of your medical care provider services to the newest generation of veterans that we, the already present and existing veteran community, are able to help support the future generations of veterans that will be returning to our society with open arms and tell them with no hesitation, welcome home. Thank you.
Hi, y'all. I was in the Army from '03 to '08, and Steve very nicely asked me if I could write something on female veterans and also what's been going on in Hurricane Helene. I'm from Marshall, North Carolina, and we've had quite a few military down there. She looks like me. I stand motionless across the street, stunned into a paralysis of movement. Her hands move with command and purpose, directing vehicles to move along Main Street in my hometown of Marshall, North Carolina. My gaze fixes on her hair, so like my hairstyle of 5 years in the Army, twisted into a severe bun, kept out of her face so she can do her job. Her tan combat boots leave small footprints in the ankle-deep mud, but each step leaves an impression of strength. I never expected to see her here in the civilian landscape of Western North Carolina, but our normal civilian and veteran lives turned quickly into a disaster zone of tragedy, chaos, and hope from Hurricane Helene. I feel my face lifting into a smile because there she is, an extension of myself, of all the women who came before her in a military uniform. From our country's inception, fighting in the Revolutionary War, either in dresses or disguised as males, our sisters fought for our ideals throughout every conflict. We didn't need or wait for congressional approval to fill combat jobs. We just did them. We all volunteered for those jobs. From the truck drivers hauling supplies across the border into Iraq, to the military police out on patrols in Afghanistan, risking their lives to IEDs and ambushes. We did it because it was our job. We hold the same ideals of leadership: loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. I see another female clad in a combat uniform with mud staining her boots. This time, her hair falls free down her back in a braid. I squint, my inner NCO thinking about dress standards that no longer hold relevancy, and I realize I'm an old soldier. I smile again, this time ruefully at myself, and I talk to her. I ask her what job she holds in the North Carolina National Guard. She beams back at me, rattles off a bunch of stuff I don't really understand, but the word combat is in her job title. At the look of confusion on my face, she pulls out her phone and shows me a picture of the vehicle she drives, a crazy-looking tank with what looks like a cannon on top. She tells me that she loads 100-pound rounds, and her spotter, another female standing straight and direct at her side, is the brains who decides where to aim. Together, they are a portable, maneuverable, two-female assault team. And there, right there, I see all the females who came before her stretching in a long line, from me in post 9/11 to Gulf War military police, to Vietnam nurses, to World War II pilots, to Civil War spies, and to Revolutionary War elite infantry. I ask her, what's it like being in a job with a combat title? Are you okay as a female combat soldier in the Army? Are they treating you okay? Yes, she answers me, and the female next to her nods firmly. Our command and fellow soldiers treat us well, with respect. Her smile dims as she glances toward the mud still smothering our streets. She's heard it's not so great in the active duty Army. We look at each other, one generation to the next, and I see she will also join our ranks of the women before. We're still searching for the generation of females who will reach all we have been working toward, be it as a guardian, soldier, sailor, coastie, Marine, or airman, one war at a time, one generation at a time. She goes back to work, shovel in hand, part of the bucket brigade to clean up our hometown after the flood of 2024. I stare after her, a version of myself 20 years from when I served, and hundreds of years since females like us fought in the Revolutionary War. But this time, I'm no longer stunned motionless, because I see that we are all still moving forward, seeking the after generation to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Good morning. I'm Ron Toler. I was in the Air Force from 1970 to 1977. The story I read to you today is about people that I've encountered in my life, and especially people that I've encountered since I've become involved with the brothers and sisters like these. It's called Veterans Day and Everyday Heroes. Veterans Day to me is a time to recognize those everyday heroes who returned from war and went on to do their part to build this land of freedom. It is a time to honor those who served in the trenches of Europe, surviving the bullets, the mustard gas, and the barbed wire to free the continent from oppression. It is time to honor those of the greatest generation who served all over the world. It's time to honor Grady, who left his beloved Betty to fly his B-17 in support of the invasion of Normandy. It's time to honor the quiet Uncle Rip, who felt the burden of living a good life to honor so many of his fallen brothers as they stormed the beaches of Normandy. It is a time to honor those who fought in Korea many who had served in World War II. The Uncle Bill, who made the ultimate sacrifice to save his 5-man crew. To honor Dick Overstreet, who lost his life flying his F-84E on a bombing run against a train in Panmunjom. It is time to honor the baby boomers for their service in Vietnam, the Davids and Lesters, who were called Doc, who struggled to save their wounded brothers. Time to honor the Blakesleys and John, who flew their helicopters in harm's way to bring those wounded to safety and medical help. It's time to honor the Allans, who had to make the hard decisions and work compassionately to save and heal those in their care. It is time to honor a country boy who returned from war, put his head down and went to work, only to sum up his generation's experience of turbulent times in a beautiful poem, Brothers Like These, 50 years later. It's time to honor the Bills, who after serving as a Marine in the jungles of Vietnam, finished his career as a gunny, leading his troops to build airfields in the far north of Desert Storm. It's time to honor the Altons, who, after flying his Super Sabre and Sandy in Vietnam, led his squadron over downtown Baghdad in their stealthy 117s. It's time to honor the Tommies and Stacys and Kevins, who left the safety and security of home to serve in the deserts of Iraq in an all-volunteer force, enduring the heat, separation, and hardship to make the world a better place. It's time to honor the Dr. Kays, the Josephs, the Elizabeths, Jeremiahs, Jeffs, and Mary Bess, who recognize the trauma these returning heroes suffered and worked tirelessly to help relieve their stress. It's time to honor and recognize your neighbors, the mothers and fathers who lost their children in service to this great land, the Ann and Dale Hamptons who lost their only daughter, Kimberly, in Iraq. It's time to honor Ann, who told us of the loss of her son, Matthew, from a loving mother's perspective. Veterans Day is a time to remember and honor all those patriots, past and present, who sacrificed their lives serving this great country and helping to make the world a better, freer place. It is time to honor those who returned home and have since died from their war-related illness and disease. They are not to be forgotten. Thank you.
Let's take a moment to honor those who have read and give him a giant, well-deserved welcome home. Again, we'd like to thank Charles George VA for us coming together as a community today. We hope to see you next year. We'd like to see you stay safe, stay strong, and let's work together to heal and get our community back. Thank you. Have a good day.